everybody. Welcome back to the Premium Picks YouTube channel. Today, we are going to break down UFC 287. We're going to give you our predictions, we're going to give you our bets, and we're going to tell you what fights we would probably just straight up pass on. Before we do that, we're going to quickly recap the last card, Sandhagen versus Vera. If you followed our conservative picks, we gave you two sets of picks for that fight card. We gave you a conservative chart, we gave you a high risk chart. Both sides won. If you followed all the conservative picks, you made money. If you followed all the high risk picks, you made money. One thing I did want to recap too is we predicted the underdog Andrea Lee to upset Macy Barber, and the fight went exactly as we thought it would planned, exactly as we thought, and we got absolutely robbed by the judges. If we got that decision, and we should have, we would have made so much money. But again, we still won. It's nothing to be upset about. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We're still up. We still won. Onwards and forward. You have anything to recap from that 1A train?
Nothing much. Sandhagen looked really good. Ground game looked really good. I haven't seen him do that many takedowns in a long time. And the control. Marlon gave up too many early rounds. He was fighting from behind. He wasn't knocking out Sandhagen. Nobody does. Holly Holm looked levels above Yana. She looked like a fish out of water on the ground. That Vergara fight was pretty dope. Just as like we predicted, De Silva comes out hot. Vergara has durability, finishes him second round. Other than that, everything went pretty much as we thought it would. Nothing to go on now, so on to the next card and let's go.
All right, let's do it. UFC 287. Guys, don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, prelims. First fight of the night. It is a new matchup. We have Trey Ogden versus Anicia Bahamondes. At first glance, this looks kind of like a striker versus grappler, but it's actually not, because Bahamondes can grapple himself. He does have some good submission wins himself. So I think he beats Ogden. Might not be quick, but I think he's the better striker. I think he's going to beat him up on the feet, and I don't think Ogden's going to be able to snatch the submission here. There's no odds on this fight yet because it is a new matchup, and until the odds drop, I'm not so sure I'd be betting this fight anyways. But yeah, I don't see Ogden winning this one. What do you got, A-Train?
I'm pretty high on Bahamondes actually. I bet him in his last fight when he like tapped out Wrong Ju. And I liked his length and his height for the division. He's just a big 6'2" guy for the division. So I feel like he can keep Ogden on the outside. And if he has to grapple, he has to grapple with him. Ogden had an easier matchup a couple weeks back when Torres pulled out, because Torres seems like a one-round fighter. Ballman doesn't have the greatest gas tank, but he got into the third round a couple times and he looked okay. He's like one of those guys that look tired but keep fighting. So this guy fights for your money. Still holds in his game. Striking needs some work. But I think this matchup is winnable for him. I'm on the Bahamondes side. I think you're right with the, I'm just looking up here if I could find some odds, but I don't see anything. So yeah, Bahamondes is my pick.
All right. Moving on, we got fan favorite Chris Barnett versus Chase Sherman. This is a heavyweight striking contest. I don't see the fight hitting the ground here. Surprising to me, 89% of the voters online are on the Barnett train. They're all picking Chris Barnett to win this fight. I am not big on Chris Barnett at all. I think the guy's funny. He's funny to watch, but I don't see him winning this fight. I see he's 5'9" at heavyweight. He's facing a tall heavyweight. Neither of them are great. It's a low level fight, and heavyweights sometimes can be coin flips, but neither guy has crazy power. So I actually see this kind of like a point fight, and I see Chase Sherman winning all three rounds. I have Chase Sherman winning. I know it's hard to say I want to put money on Chase Sherman. The guy's not great, but I actually do feel pretty confident here. Like I said, I shouldn't because it's heavyweight, but I am going to be betting Chase Sherman in some parlays. I see him winning, and I'd say if you want to be really conservative, just pick that the fight goes over the halfway point, over 1.5 rounds. I think that's a lock. Like I don't see this fight ending. I don't see the fight ending early. A-Train, what do you got?
Well, over 1.5 is actually big time minus money. That's the over 2.5, that's plus 100. So very weird for the heavyweight division. Very weird. But it's because these guys don't finish. They're low level. Barnett should hang in there because he hung in there against Martin Budai and all that stuff. So I mean, I think he should hang in there. So plus 100 over 2.5. This is gonna get sloppy in the third round. Very sloppy. Barnett's gonna miss because he's so short. Sherman is he has a good first round, good volume in the first round, but then after that, it always dips off. I find it hard to put money on him, like you said. And I don't know if I might have him in one of those YOLO parlays, because I like to do one with all the fights of the card, but we'll see. My pick is the over 1.5, over 2.5. And if gun to my head, Chase Sherman, reluctantly I pick.
There you have it. All right, moving on. We have Sam Hughes versus Jacqueline Amarim. Amarim is a newcomer to the UFC. She is 6-0, and with all 6 wins coming by first round finish. That is very impressive for women's MMA. You don't normally have someone with a finishing percentage that high. She's being kind of compared to Mackenzie Dern. Apparently, I've heard people reference her. She's I've got a very good ground game. She's a grappler. She likes to find the submissions, but I think she actually has a knockout win or two as well. Her striking is kind of wild or raw. It's not polished, but she hits hard. So she's a finisher in every sense of the word. And then we have Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes is 7-5. Doesn't look good on paper, but she's fought the better competition. And the one thing she is she's tough. She always hangs around. She's always in kind of 2 rounds to 1 kind of fights. She's not great at anything. She sometimes looks for the takedown herself. She kind of wins on physicality sometimes. I don't see that working here. I am definitely on the newcomers train here. I'm going to ride that train till it crashes here. I'm going to take Jacqueline Amram to win as the conservative play. And honestly, I'm probably going to stab it for her to finish. She's got 6 finishes in 6 fights. I think you stab her to finish this one as well. Um, don't go big. It's a women's fight, and don't go big on newcomers. But I am definitely on the Jacqueline train here. What do you got?
Jacqueline looks good on tape. Like you said, the striking not polished, but she does have power. Ground game looks pretty swift though. When she gets on the ground, she looks like she really attacks those subs. You know what I mean? Now Sam Hughes has a few wins in the UFC, has a few losses. She's only been stopped once. It was a doctor stoppage against Tisha Torres. So that was just made those doctor stoppages. You don't take too much solace in. They're kind of weak, right? It's just like the fluke. But anyways, when she wins, it's when she controls on the ground. I don't think she's controlling this girl on the ground. That's my thing. Even if she does take her down, I feel like she's going to get swept. I feel like she's going to get taken from the bottom, something like that. So the under 2.5 is plus money. I want to take a stab at that. I do like the newcomer's ground game, and I do think she'll be able to use it against Sam Hughes. So I'm going to take Jacqueline and Morum. I think it's by subs live, second round, late, early third, maybe, but subs live. I like the under as well. Cover yourself both ways. If she blows her load in the first round, Sam Hughes rides her up, beats her like she beat Elise Reed. So you never know. But yeah, Jacqueline Morum, submission, second round.
I like it. I agree. All right, moving on. We got Gerald Mearshart versus Joe Pyfer. It's kind of a grappler versus a grappler. Gerald or Mearshart there is more of the jujitsu grappler, and Pyfer's more of the wrestler grappler. He's going to get on top of you and he's going to pound you. Pyfer hits really hard. The guy is built like a brick shithouse. So I've got Joe in this fight. I know Mearshart's kind of had a resurgence since that horrible loss to Chimaev, but I think he's won 4 fights in a row or 4 of his last 5. So he has bounced back. Mearchart hasn't looked too bad lately, but I think Pyfer can do exactly what Chimaev did. Not exactly. I mean, he's not going to do it in the first minute. He's not going to not get hit, but I think he's going to find the knockout. I like Joe by knockout. I don't think obviously Mearshart can always find your neck, but I don't think he will. I think he's going to be on the bottom. He's not going to get a submission from the bottom. And Joe hits so hard that I think I like the Joe finish. I think Joe money line for some parlays. And if you're an individual bet, I think sprinkling on the knockout, I like it. I will be betting Joe. Um, I'm pretty confident on this fight. What do you got?
Joe's one actually one of my stronger leans of the card because I just don't see where Mearshart beats him. Because the wrestling, Joe has it. The striking, Joe has it. Mirshaw's got the jiu-jitsu, but to employ the jiu-jitsu, you have to have the wrestling. He's not taking down Joe. I don't think so. So if anyone's going to be on top, and is Joe going to put his neck in a spot where Mearshart grabs it? So the way he's been finishing people, guillotine. So you got to put your neck there in the spot, grab the guillotine, snatches it up. I don't think that's going to happen. He's going to get him from the bottom. Like he's not Bartosz Fabinski sticking his neck out there and just getting just tapped. I just don't feel like that. And I feel like he's going to use his wrestling to keep it standing. You keep it standing, this fight's not even close. Joe by knockout, if it stays standing 1000%. It gets a little dicey on the ground. I don't think Joe does that. So I'm going to pick Joe. I feel like it's a finish, and I feel like it's early second round.
I like it, and I agree 100% that Joe's in a few of my parlays already. All right, moving on. We got Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. Now, out of all the fights on this card, I'm going to be honest. For me, this fight's a straight up pass. Not because I don't like the fight, but because I have no strong feeling on this fight. Calvin Gastelum has just been so inactive that I don't know what we're going to get from him. I know he's always had a great chin, and I know Chris Curtis has a great chin. So if anything, I guess I would go over, but I won't be betting this fight. Calvin Gastelum that fought Izzy looked great. Calvin Gastelum that fought Cannonier, he had some moments. Calvin Gastelum that fought Whitaker, he always has moments, but he doesn't win rounds. And Chris Curtis is so low output. I don't like Chris Curtis either. He's always losing until he finds the knockout punch. And I don't think he's going to knock out Calvin Gastelum. So I think it's going to be a fairly low output fight if I was guessing, but it's going to be on the feet. I'm not too sure who has the edge here on the hands because I don't trust either one of their outputs. I trust both of their chins, so I guess I like the over. But like I said, out of all of the fights on this card, I think this one is a straight up pass for betting for myself. Adrian, you making any bets or you have any confidence in either of them?
Well, the public's on Kelvin, so he's moved the lines moved to minus 125 in his point, his way. So now Chris Curtis is the underdog. If I was going to play this fight, would be Chris Curtis because the money says the value is on Chris Curtis. Um, both have good chins, like you said. Low output on Curtis's end. He's losing till he like wins. Gastelum hasn't shown shit in the last few fights at all. Losing straight up decisions, like easy pick decisions. So like, I don't know. I pick Chris Curtis. He's the guy that's on the rise. Gastelum's on the demise. That's it. Chris Curtis decision.
Yeah, I think it has decision written all over it, but I don't trust either of them to be honest. But oh well. All right, moving on. We got Steve Garcia versus Shaylin Nerdenbecky. Um, this is another tough to pick fight. Garcia is so inconsistent. At his best, he's a killer, and at his worst, he gets killed. Usually, his fights don't last very long. He's fresh off that knockout win over Chase Hooper, where he completely owned him. But I've also seen Garcia get knocked out pretty quickly as well. On the other side, Shaylin is a veteran. He can do it all. He's not flashy. He's not amazing at anything, but he's definitely more well-rounded. I could see him holding him down, winning on points. Or maybe Steve's chin isn't the greatest either. This is another pass for me. I'm not betting this fight. I guess I would lean Shaylin, but Garcia does pull out these crazy wins sometimes. So there's not enough confidence in this fight for me. I won't be betting this fight. How do you feel?
Garcia is a crazy striker. It's like the only reason he beat Hooper is because he wouldn't let Hooper breathe, right? So he goes right after him. So now Hooper has zero wrestling, so he didn't take him down. So I feel like how you counteract that wild man style is to take him down. Hernan Mbeke has pretty decent wrestling, is decent ground game, lots of submissions on his record, an extensive record, over 30 fights. So I feel like you said, I feel like this is going to be Garcia coming after Nurembeke. Nurembeke, low volume, so he's either going to counter him, knock him down, knock him out, or take him down to counter that wild mind style and hold him down for 3 rounds and win a decision. Now, over 2.5 is 1 plus 120. That's kind of enticing. Maybe poke at that. So I wonder what Nuremberg by decision is. They don't have that line up yet, but you know, those are the kind of things I'll look at this fight. I'm going to poke those kind of props. Straight up, it's stupid to go -2 whatever on Nuremberg. I say Nuremberg. I say Nuremberg by decision. I really like the over 2.5. But Garcia has a shitty cardio, shitty, but he did last 3 rounds on his, with Luis Pena on his back, uh, full back mount, 3 rounds in a row. So who knows, man?
Garcia is just so inconsistent. That's why I don't like betting on these wild guys. One thing to note with that fight, and again, I'm not betting it, so don't hold me to this, but Garcia is a finisher, so it's almost like if there's a finish, Garcia is going to win, and if there's a decision, Shaylin's going to win. Again, I'm not betting it, but those would be my tips, I guess. If you're on one of those fighters, I would go with either Garcia by finish or Shaylin by decision. That's just my thought. All right, moving on. We got Michelle, the Karate Hottie Watterson versus Luana Pinheiro. Um, the Karate Hottie doesn't have many wins lately, but she's been fighting top competition and she's always hanging around. She's always tough. She's always still in the fight. It's funny that she's called the Karate Hottie. I think her striking is pretty piss poor, to be honest. Um, but she's a decent grappler and she's tough. I've seen her take a pounding and not give up. So she's always in it. Pinheiro, I think we'll be able to bully her a little bit. I think this fight's almost whoever's going to be on top is going to win, and I think Luana is going to end up on top and ground and pound her for the rounds. I don't think there's going to be a finish unless Watterson's ready to retire. I don't think this will be a finished fight. So I guess I like the over once again, and I would say Pinheiro wins by decision. As far as bets go, again, women's fights, I don't like to put too much money on them or too much at stake here. I don't think Watterson's a terrible underdog, but I do think Pinheiro will be able to use her physicality to win a decision. That's how I see it. How do you see it?
I think Watterson's been used now in this point of her career as a gatekeeper because, like you said, they've been putting her up against pretty good girls. I think the last fight, the one that she was closest to, was that Angela Hill robbery that she had. But other than that, man, she is tough as nails. She went 5 rounds with Marina Rodriguez. That's a tough one. So I mean, yeah, but it's gatekeeper status. Luana Perriera, know she's not even that good, or maybe not that good yet. She had that fight against Ronda Marcos, second best Oscar going to Luana Pinheiro for that. But Aljamain always gets the first best Oscar for his fight, but she gets the second best because she's just like, oh, I can't continue, I can't continue. Brandon Marcos lost that fight because of a DQ. So I don't know. I don't count that one. This last one against Sam Hughes, Sam Hughes. If she can't employ her ground game, then she loses. So it's a tough fight for Luana Pinheiro. Not one where minus 170 is worth. So either take the over or pass the fight. She should beat Watterson at this point in her career, but I wouldn't be surprised if Watterson pulled one out of her ass.
Yeah, I agree 100%. All right, moving on. Rounding out the last fight on the prelims, we have another women's fight. That's strange that they do back to back, but that's the order that I see. Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupi Godinez. Simply put, Calvillo's on a 4-fight losing streak. They are some pretty good fighters, but it's still not a good look losing 4 in a row. She needs to win here or she's done. She is older. I think she's 35 years old, I believe. Um, I don't like Calvillo here again. Lupi, I lost a lot of faith in because she lost that last fight to Angela Hill and she was running away the whole fight. It was a terrible fight, but it was not a good look for her. But then again, I think Angela Hill's maybe very underrated. She's been robbed so many times on decisions. Angela Hill could have a much better record than what the stats show. So I'm going to give Lupi another shot here. I think Lupi should win this fight. I think she should be able to get takedowns and beat her up. Um, Calvillo has won me money in the past, like years ago. She used to always win these fights that she shouldn't have won, but now she's not winning them anymore. So I feel I was gonna say I feel pretty good about Lupi. Maybe I don't. I think Lupi wins this fight. I do have Lupi in a couple parlays, actually, believe it or not. So Lupi better win this fight. Lupi should win this fight, guys. Calvillo's on the way out, 4 in a row. She's getting older. I don't see Calvillo sticking around and changing things at this point in her life. Loopy's still in her 20s. I think she's 29, but still, she should. And after that loss to Angela Hill, I'm confident that she went back and put work in. She had to have. So I got Loopy in this fight. Again, an over. I got the over, and I like Loopy. That's how I see it. How do you see it, buddy?
Well, Lupi's got to use her wrestling because if she can't use her wrestling, she can't use her striking. That's the problem. So that's not the Angela Hill loss that really gets me because Angela Hill, like you said, underrated, loses fights that, well, she looks like she's winning. I remember one where she was like plus one, like not even plus money, like minus 150, minus 200, third round. I'm like, oh shit. And I had her underdog ticket. She was plus 300, plus 200. It's like, oh, she's gonna win this. Robbed. That was Michelle Waterson though. So like, well. Anyways, her wrestling's gonna be the what's gonna win Lupi the fight. I feel like it because Calvillo's wrestling, it's been good, but I think Lupi has better wrestling. Now, if they want to stay on strike, God knows what's gonna happen. I don't. But that loss to Jessica Penne by Lupi, ugh, she let Penne just sit on top of her. That's gross. And Jessica Penne sucks. And she's on her way out. And she was on her way out then. I can't believe she won that fight. Then that loss to Luana Carolina. I know she was outsized. Ugh, I know. I know she was outsized, but like skill matters in MMA, right? And I feel like her skill is way levels above Luana Carolina. So she should have been able to win that fight. Even though she shouldn't have got let herself. She lets the other person sometimes dictate where the fight goes. The better fighters dictate the pace, dictate if it's up, down, or up against the cage. That's what her issue is. I'm scared of putting her in a parlay. I really am. I probably will put her in that YOLO with Chase Sherman so they both fuck me at the same time. But yeah, I like overs. I like overs a lot this card. It's going to be a boring card, I feel like.
I don't mean to cut you off here, but you just scared the hell out of me when you said she lost to Luana. I didn't even realize she fought Luana Carolina and lost to her. Oh my God. Because I watched Luana fight Joanne Wood last or a couple weeks ago there or whatever. Oh my God, she is atrocious.
Yeah.
She's terrible.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone look so funny on the feet. Like
I
I
hit
think you
that
just talked
line
about
too, though. I hit that
funny.
line. Decision line was like plus 400, plus 300. I hit that
Right.
too. I got it on the. I just went with the whole size thing, right? Like MMA size, whatever. It doesn't always work out, but like I just took a shot and it hit. But whoa,
All right, Loopy, if you can't Loopy, win this fight, please. Jesus, win the fight. She should win the fight, guys. She should. Calvillo's not good herself. She should win this fight. The main card, first fight, we have Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. This should be a striker versus striker contest. Holland does have a legit grappling background. He does have some good submissions, but he's so dumb that he doesn't even want to take the fights to the ground. That fight with Wonder Boy was mind blowing. I mean, props to him for giving the people what they wanted. Dumb decision. But anyways, this is actually pretty good fight. I the odds are just insane though. Holland's like a minus 300 favorite, which doesn't make a ton of sense. I do think Holland can win this fight. I do think he can win it by knockout. But Ponzinibbio used to be friggin' really good. He was knocking on the door of a title shot, and then I think he got like a life-threatening illness that took him out for a couple years. And when he came back, he never looked quite the same. He does still have good striking. He knows how to strike for sure. He hits pretty hard. He knows how to control the distance, but he's to me kind of looks chinny. Every time he gets hit, he gets wobbled, and he's not the fastest. Kevin Holland is fast. He hits hard, and Kevin Holland has a chin because even when he's getting beat up, I've never seen Kevin Holland get knocked out. Sure, he'll kind of run and shell up and whatever, but Kevin Holland doesn't go down. So I do like Kevin Holland here, and I think I like him by knockout. If you are on the other side, I could see Ponzi winning a decision and giving him a veteran lesson, as you call it. I think those would be the two plays. Like I'm not betting this fight because the odds are too crazy for me. The minus 300 on Holland, no thanks. I'm not betting Holland at minus 300. But if you're one of these people who wants to bet every fight on the main card. There are some people out there that are go, I'm going to bet all 5 fights. I'm going to make a bet on every fight. If you are betting on this fight, I think there's two plays here. Holland to finish or Ponzi by decision. The Ponzi by decision is like plus 600. It's amazing
Yep.
odds. Holland to finish is you're probably just going to barely get into that plus money territory. But those are the only two plays I see here. I the other. You're going to get a Holland finish or you're going to get a Ponzi decision. I think that's the only way this fight plays out in my head. Maybe yours see something completely different. How do you see this?
A Ponzi decision plus 600 is very tempting because Holland is very durable in the sense that Ponzi, I don't know if he's a finisher now, but like, listen, I feel like the value is on Ponzinibbio. I think I'm going to take a small stab on Ponzinibbio because Kevin Holland at minus 280 is gross. It's nasty. He does. I can't trust him. I took him in. I've won money on him in his last few fights and won money against him when he got beat by Wonder Boy because for some reason that fight was like a pick 'em. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna take the better striker. Like, I'm gonna take the better striker. But then against like the other guys, like Alex Oliveira comes to mind. Cowboy, Mr. One Round Cardio. Alex won the first round against Kevin Holland. How? How does he let such a shitty fighter win the first round against him? Especially when he has all that reach, because he has the reach advantage here. He has all this, everything's pointing in his way, but he never takes advantage of it. He had actually the better ground game. He showed that he had slightly a better ground game than Stephen Thompson last time, like you said. But again, Fight IQ is all messed up for Kevin Holland. Now, Ponzinibbio, he's not the greatest. And like you said, he is a little chinny. But I think he's not going to get hit this fight. I think he'll get on the inside. And I think he might employ a little bit of wrestling because he knows how. If his fight camp doesn't know Kevin Holland's weakness by now, then they're not doing their job. Ponzinibbio is not a shitty guy to be on top of you. And I think if he's on top, Kevin Holland's not getting some sort of triangle from the bottom. Ponzi, I'm going to take a shot on him. I think I will take a shot on him. I'll take a bigger shot depending on how the before card goes. But like, yeah, I think the value's there, and I like him better than Kevin Holland.
Yeah, plus 600 is definitely tempting. I don't think I've ever seen Ponzi wrestle. He feels confidence in his hands, and he always fights that striking fight. But yeah, I mean at plus 600, it sounds good to me. I'm not betting that fight. All right, moving up the card, we have the 19-year-old Rosas JR versus Christian Rodrigues. Simply put, they're kind of both grapplers. 19-year-old loves suffocating pressure. He jumps on you right away. He's good wrestler. He's good at getting those takedowns. He's good at finding the neck, good at finding submissions. And Rodrigues is no slouch. This is a good step up. It's a not pushing him too quickly, not rushing him into a fight that he can't handle. But Rodrigues has good scrambles and he's pretty good himself. The problem with Rodrigues is he has terrible takedown defense. He has been taken down 10 times in his 3 UFC fights. So, and the takedowns that he was giving up were to lesser wrestlers. So, simply put, Rosas JR is going to get these takedowns. I do not see him losing this fight at all, to be honest. The UFC needs new stars. They want this 19-year-old to win. They're giving him a very winnable fight style wise, and they're building him up slowly. Like I said, they need some new stars. The other guys are getting older. They're on their way out. They got to build some new guys. They're trying to build this kid, and I think this kid absolutely gets it done. I don't know if he's going to finish Rodrigues because Rodrigues actually has pretty good scrambles. So I think the conservative pick would be the 19-year-old junior to get it done. And the high risk pick would be that he finds that submission, and that would be the plus money bet. I could see him getting the submission. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be another 1 minute fight like his last fight. I think Rodrigues can hopefully hang around for a bit and we get to see more out of Junior. I want to see more. I want to see him face some adversity. I'd like to see him forced to stand up a little bit. I don't think we're really going to get that here, though. I think he will be able to get the takedowns pretty easy. And I do have bets on Junior. Like I said, the UFC wants him to win. Usually who they want to win will win. I mean, I got money on Junior for sure. I do. How do you see it?
Stylistically, this matchup faces Junior. It's Junior's fight to lose. I feel like he'll put a pace on Rodrigues, right? Like you said, Like this guy last fight, I thought like, he'll stand a little bit, try to feel his distance. Nope. Boom. 100 miles per hour. He's fucking 19 years old. He can go 100 miles per hour. I play against 19-year-olds in my men's basketball league. I That's what makes me feel like an old man. Right? You know what I mean? It's because these guys have a motor that just unheard of. So that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna put a pace on Rodriguez. Not that Rodriguez doesn't have this pace that can't, but when you're getting the one being wrestled, your gas tank goes down way faster. And I feel like he's just gonna keep putting the pace on him and then take him down. And I feel like the submission's live. It's all about if Rodriguez can do use those scrambles that you said that he's good at. He is good at scrambling because he's won some of those fights he's been taken down in, right? And to win fights that you've been taken down in, you have to have good scrambles. You have to be able to get to your feet. I just think Rojas Jr. is just too good on the ground for this guy. Once he gets him down, he's going to put him out. He's one of my
Yep.
better leans of the card. I think him and Joe Pyfer are probably my two picks that I feel like are the best. Those would be my like, I wouldn't say locks because there's nothing locked on this card, but my two strongest leans is him and Pyfer. Everything else is the values on the dog.
Agree 100%. Okay, moving on. We got the featured fight. This is actually my, I don't want to say favorite fight. The main event's good, but this is my second favorite fight on the card for me. For me, this is the co-main event, not name-wise, but just the fight-wise. We have Rob Font versus my boy, Adrian Yanez. I'm telling you right now, I am biased. I love Adrian Yanez. This kid has won me so much money. He can bang, he can crack, he's got a chin. I love the kid. Now, obviously, this is a step up in competition. So maybe I'm in for a rude awakening here, but I really, really like Adrian Yanez. The guy has some of the best hands in the division. He's got a titanium chin as well. In his last 9 fights, he has 8 knockouts and he has one split decision that was kind of dicey against Davy Grant. That was a close fight.
Yeah.
Other than the Davy Grant fight, he has put away everybody. And like I said, he hits hard as hell. He's fast with his hands. He's fast. The only thing is sometimes his output. His output sometimes he walks straight forward. And he walks into punches to get to land his. But when he lands his, he hurts you. He puts you down. He finishes you. So I really, really like Adrian Yanez. I do have money on him. I do have him in some parlays. I'm not telling you to do it because I know a lot of people are on the other side of the fence and they're saying Font is the veteran. Font's been in there with Cheeto Vera. Okay, he lost to Cheeto Vera. He's been in there with Jose Aldo. Okay, he lost to Jose Aldo. He beat Marlon Moraes. He did, but everybody's beating Marlon Moraes. And he was getting clocked for that first minute or two in that fight until he scored the knockout win. Font does have good hands too. Don't get me wrong. Font has very good boxing, so there is a world in which he can jab Yanez to death and stay on the outside and I guess win a decision like that. If he can do that, hats off to him. But I think Yanez is eventually going to land those hands. And like I said, I love Adrian Yanez. He has won me a lot of money, and I am rolling with Yanez all the way. It's going to be a wicked fight, stand-up fight. Going to be a great fight. This is a fun one. Don't get up for a beer during this one. This is the one to watch. And I got Yanez. What do you got?
Well, this fight kind of mimics that Cheeto Vera fight, right? Because Yanez is a known slow starter. He's dropped first rounds to what's his name? Randy Costa. When he got beat up and that chin did come true. I'm pretty sure he lost that first round to Davy Grant. I am biased to Adrian Yanez too. I thought he was really good striker, and I needed him to win that money for Davy Grant because I had a lot riding on him. But I think he lost that first round. He just came back with just like better striking. But the difference between him and Cheeto is that Adrian, like, it's weird to say your name because I'm Adrian, and then this guy's Adrian too. It's weird to say that, but anyway, Adrian Yanez, that second round is always is like he always comes back way quicker than Cheeto does, and what it makes this fight kind of like similar is that, like you said, volume on Rob Font's side. Rob Font has landed over 200 strikes against Cheeto Vera. Cheeto had landed not even like three-quarters of that and won the fight. Because you can win moments now in MMA. The judging is so different. You win moments now in MMA and you win the fight. Not to say that Yanez can't finish him, which he can. His striking should be crisper, and I feel like he's going to win the big moments. Um, Yanez is probably the pick. I don't fault anyone for going on the font side, but I'm a big fade the public guy. So Rob Font started around plus 200, around there. Now he's at plus 155. All the value on Rob's gone. Now Yanez is about buck 75. I don't mind taking a shot on Adrian Yanez and parlays at a buck 75, buck 80, minus 80. That's good. That's good with me. I think I lost the value on Font at plus 200. And I think Adrian Yanez will pull out this fight. I'm not going to say he finishes him though, because Rob Font's pretty dangerously durable. So Adrian Yanez by decision is pretty good because it's minus 130 to the plus two to the over 2.5. So you'll get good plus money if you want to drop a prop on that.
The thing I also when I look at this fight is Rob Font ate so many shots from Vera and like his face was mangled or whatever. And it's not to say Vera doesn't hit hard, but Yanez hits different. So I I think if he lands those same shots, I'm not so sure that I know Font's tough, but I'm just saying Yanez hits different, guys. Yanez does hit different. There's a reason he's got 8 out of 9 knockouts. He is a finisher. So yeah, I don't know. He's my boy. I'm sorry. I get really excited for him, but I really like Adrian Yanez, guys. All right, moving on. We got the co-main event. We got Gilbert Burns versus Street Jesus, Jorge Masvidal. Um, minus 500 on Gilbert Burns. Sounds absolutely insane. I do think Masvidal has had his moment of fame. He's definitely got one foot out the door, probably. But Gilbert Burns isn't young himself. He's also up there, and he should not be a minus 500. I think Masvidal's overrated. I think Gilbert Burns has the skill set that can beat him for sure, but there's no way, there's no world that I am laying money on Gilbert Burns at minus 500. Gilbert Burns has been knocked out by lightweights, Dan Hooker. Gilbert Burns has been knocked out before. So, and he's not the greatest wrestler. Yes, he has a world-class ground game. Yes, if he gets you down and he's on top of you, there's a good chance he can find the submission. But Masvidal has decent takedown defense, and Burns isn't a wrestler. So there is a world I could see where Masvidal can keep this standing and can outstrike Gilbert Burns. I mean, you got to give Masvidal the advantage on the feet. That being said, Burns could still catch him on the feet. It's not to say it's a sure thing on the feet that Masvidal wins, but more times than not, Masvidal should beat him on the feet. So to me, this is a pass or dog for me, like pass or dog. I'm passing. I don't have money on this, and the prop hasn't dropped yet. But if Masvidal wins, I think it's because he stuffs a takedown and finds the chin. So I'll be interested to see what a Masvidal by knockout prop pays because that's the only way I see him winning. I don't think he's
Plus
gonna
650.
plus 650. It's I mean, like again, don't go and take out a mortgage payment and put it on Masvidal by knockout. But I could see a world where Masvidal does stuff a takedown and does find the chin. I don't have confidence in either of them. I would pick Burns if the line was closer. There's no chance in hell I'm betting Gilbert Burns at minus 500. So I am passing on this fight. But I'm telling you, to me, it's a dog or pass, and I wouldn't blame anybody for taking the dog money here. How do you see it?
Well, if this fight stays standing, it's going to be interesting. You might want to just take Masvidal plus 390 because that's what he is. That's huge money anyway. But Masvidal by decision plus 900. Masvidal by KO plus 600. Gilbert Burns is sort of chinny. Just being man, Kamaru Usman just finished him. Kamaru Usman has pillow fists. Kamaru Usman can't finish anybody. That finish against Colby Covington because he broke his jaw. I guess. But like, even though Masvidal showed a little bit against Covington, the get-ups were pretty good. You know, like Covington like ride him for like big, huge periods of time. He got taken down, but Covington is like an elite wrestler. Gilbert Burns has better wrestling than when he was in the lightweight division, but is he elite? No. Can he get him down? Yeah. But is he gonna get sub? Street Jesus isn't a pussy. He's not gonna like just sub. You know what I mean? So he'll defend, he'll defend. Gilbert Burns by decision is plus 140. The bookies think that's where it's going. I'm pretty sure that's where they think it's going because the Gilbert Burns sub is plus 250. And he's a submission grappler. He's not going to pound out Masvidal. Not a chance he's going to pound him out. He gets him on the ground, he's going to go for a sub, or he's going to write out the round. So those are two options. There's no
And
point in doing that, buddy. There's no point.
And in Masvidal's defense, and I'm not a Masvidal fan at all, so I actually don't like the guy. But in his defense, he's hard to finish. I like even when you get him down, I don't think he's going to be just some quick layup submission. Like so, Masvidal is a tough guy. He is a veteran.
But
So
Kamaru finished him too. So like I don't get it. Like it's so weird. The two fights that Kamaru finished, I think anyway, I think he just got too overzealous in that fight. And he came forward thinking Kamaru didn't have the power or and he just hit him right on the button. I mean, it was a great punch anyway. I mean, but we all know Kamaru's not a finisher. So I feel like I don't take too much solace in that. So, but Burns has power on the feet too. But Masvidal's great chin. So this fight is interesting. But if you're not taking the dog, then just pass. There ain't no point in taking Gilbert Burns at minus 500.
yep, exactly. Dogger passes. There's no other way to put it. All right, guys, moving on to the main event and new Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya, the rematch. It's actually fight number 4. I'm sure most of you are aware. They fought twice in kickboxing. Pereira got the knockout win and a controversial decision. So 3-0 for Alex going up against Israel, and he is still the underdog. So people still don't have faith in Alex, and I get it. He was losing last fight, but that power's the game changer. Now, there's two things. Is Israel going to do what he did last fight and not get caught for 5 rounds? Is he going to point fight him to a decision? Or is he going to try to grapple him, take him down where people think he's a fish out of water and try to beat him on the ground? I don't think so. I think it might be smart to mix some wrestling in and stuff like that. But I think that Izzy has too much pride. I think that he wants this fight by like he wants to win standing. He doesn't want to take a cheesy submission. I'm not saying it's cheesy to win the belt by submission. It's not by no means. But I don't think that's his plan. I think he really wants revenge. He really wants to set the record straight that hey, I'm the better striker, and maybe he is. But like I said, power's on Pereira's side. He's got that fight-ending shot. Um, it's a tough one to pick. I love Alex. I know nobody else seems to. I really like him. I'm a big fan. I realize he's not going to win a decision. If you're on the Alex side, you got to take him by knockout. He's not going to outpoint Israel Adesanya for 5 rounds. It's not going to happen. The bet that I like, to be honest, is fight doesn't go the distance. I think they're both very good strikers. Somebody's going to find the kill shot at some point. I know a lot of people like Israel by decision. They do like him to play that point fighting game that he almost pulled off last fight. But I just think they're both too good and too big to go 25 minutes with not finding the button, like either or. It could be either one of them. So I might be in the minority here, but I do see a finish. So I like fight doesn't go the distance, and I like my buddy Alex. So I like Alex to win by knockout, but that wouldn't be my bet. My bet is that the fight gets finished. Like I can see a world where Izzy drops him in the first round. I can see a world like, it can go either way. They're both so good. It could go either way. I like the fight to finish in the distance. I know a lot of people don't like that. That's my pick. What do you got?
I'll start off by saying you're right with Alex. The value sits on Alex. And that's why I'm picking Israel. Well, I like completely opposite. I like the 4.5 over because I feel like it's going to be a point fight. I like Izzy by decision plus 180 is just screaming at me. Alex by KO though looks nice at plus 225. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. But you said that he's 3-0 against Izzy. And people always use this, but I'm going to say it again. Izzy was winning the last fight. I feel like he won that controversial decision, and he was winning the first fight till he got knocked out. They're going to be like, well, till he got knocked out. It's because Alex does have a killer instinct. I'll give him that much. One shot's not going to take out Izzy. His chin's decent, and one shot's not going to do it. It's how Alex got him up against the side of the cage and just started berating him with shots. It was like 5 or 6 shots that he ate. You know what I mean? Before they gave him all the opportunity in the world to come back. So I feel like Israel, the game plan, the IQ, he should be. It's like I can get hit once. I just can't get cornered and hit like 5 or 6 times. I feel like that's what he's going to do. And for as good as Israel is, because he's still in his prime. Don't get me wrong. He's not like some washed up middleweight, just like fighting for like I think now I think Kamaru looked like a washed up middleweight. Sorry, a washed up welterweight. You know what I mean? Like he looked washed. You know, some guys just look a little bit like they lost the step. So I by no means is Izzy lost the step. He's still one of the best middleweights in the world. And I feel like he deserves once in a while to do this kind of stuff. And he deserves this because he lost the three fights that he was winning. And I know in his head he's just like, I got to beat this guy. I got to beat this guy. So I feel like this is his one. He gets 1 out of 4. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, I feel like Pereira gets a rematch if he beats him anyways, especially if it's a decision, which I think it's gonna be. So there's gonna be a trilogy fight, and that's what the UFC wants because trilogies get money. Trilogies make pay-per-views. So this one goes to Izzy in my books. I feel like he'll control the distance. He's better at controlling distance. Alex does have that fight-ending power, and power is the equalizer. Is he just can't be pressed up against the cage. He got too cocky, and that's his problem. Is he gets cocky when he's fighting, and he was owning the last. So Alex may have won the first round. So he gave that last fight first round to Alex until he ate that shot right at the end of the round, and then the next three went to Izzy. So it's like 3-1 on the scorecards, right? So he's like, oh, I'm gonna win decision. I'm gonna win decision by on his bike, and then gets caught up in the cage. Alex has a killer instinct. Boom, goes for it. You know, so Israel's in his prime. I feel like he's still got one in him, and I feel like he wins his championship back here. Um, yeah, that's where I look at it. I like Izzy by decision plus 180. Plus 180 is pretty nice. And I like Alex by KO. I might just hedge both because those are the win conditions, I think, like for both sides.
You don't see is he knocking him out? I mean, he had him on ice at the end of that first round. He
And
almost had the knockout.
it's so hard. Okay, so my thing is like his chin's like a Drew Dober chin, right? Like he looks like it's like hitting John Wick in the face, right? He's gonna just like not go down. He's just like stone cold. It's hard for me to. I just don't see Izzy as a finisher. So Izzy knocks somebody out. It's not one shot. It's got to be a barrage of shots. So Alex is okay because even if he gets hit in the last 30 seconds, he could survive. It's if he gets hit and then Izzy goes. But Izzy's killer instinct, I only seen it once. That's Paulo Costa. That's when I saw Izzy's killer instinct come out. He fights too safe. I'm just gonna go by how he fights. He fights just too safe. And you know what? Against Alex, he's 0 what 3 now against him. You better fight your ass safe. You better not just jump in there because you can knock the fuck out. So no, I feel like he fights safe, but he's the better striker. He's the better outside guy. And if he fights, I feel like he knows that he has to fight safer than he has. And that's how I see him winning it, at least.
I think Izzy has too much pride. I don't know the guy personally, so I could be completely wrong. But he strikes me as the guy is like, all right, now I gotta knock you out. I can't accept losing like that. Now I have to knock you out. And that might put him in the fire again. But
Yeah.
the fight's such a good fight. They're two of the best kickboxers you're ever gonna see in your life. So of course they both have a chance. There's a reason it's a pick 'em line. Both sides make sense. If you like the power, you go with Alex. If you like the technicality, you go with Izzy. They're both fantastic. I mean, whoever wins, hats off to them. We have a great champion there. If it's Alex, he's probably going to lose that belt to a wrestler or a grappler, anyways.
Oh yeah.
The UFC, you got to think wants Izzy just because Alex doesn't even really speak much English. I don't think he speaks any English. So you got to think they like Adesanya. He's flashy. He likes his entrances and his dances and stuff. And he puts asses in seats. They want Izzy to win. It's going to be a good one. It could go either way. I don't know. I totally understand your pick. I respect your pick. You're probably right. I like Alex. So when the fight's that close and I like someone, I'm going to pick the guy that I like. But
So I'm gonna
it's
use
going to
my
be a great.
strategy that I always use. So I'm gonna put Izzy in the parlays, especially with Piper, Rojas, Izzy in the parlay. And then if I get there, I hedge, right? I'm a big hedger. So hedge that parlay with Alex is not winning a decision, like he said. There's no
No, no,
chance.
no.
He doesn't have the volume to win a decision, and he won't out volume Adesanya. So if he wins his win condition, and he's not subbing him, I'll tell you that much either. So his win condition is literally knock him out. So if I can get, say, like 2 or 3 parlays with Izzy all the way to the end, you cash one out. and then so you can make sure that you get your money back. And then you hedge the other one with like an Alex by KO at plus 225. That's pretty fucking good, man. For a KO, for two out of the three times he beat him was by KO. And his one win condition, I think it was KO because that decision, he did not win that decision. But plus 225, whatever your bet is. So you add them up and divide it by the odds of whatever plus 225 is in decimal form, and you'll get a bet. And bet something around there, you're making money. So just remember that, right? So always take your payout plus what you put in, divided by the decimal of what you want to hedge out with, and that'll give you the amount to hedge. You can go plus minus a little bit on there depending on how you want to do things, but that's the formula I use. And winning $100 or $200 is better than losing, right? So it's all about the long game in this betting strategy. So that's the way I do things, buddy.
Guys, that was a premium picks tip there by the best. Guys, that was a really good call, actually. The Izzy on the parlays, if you get to the end, you can early cash one, or I like that hedge against it with an Alex by knockout. That's the only way Alex is going to win is by knockout. So don't put an Alex money line. He's not winning a decision here. So I like that. Hedge against it. Izzy in the parlays. If your parlay makes it right to the end, hedge with an Alex knockout. Fantastic piece of advice there. And I can't wait for that fight. The card as a whole, guys, is not the best card for betting. It's really not. Some of the lines are too wide, and some of the fights are just too unpredictable. It's not the best card, but there are some spots. We do like the Piper pick.
Yep.
We do like the Junior pick.
Yep.
And there's some other picks out there too. I mean, obviously I'm completely biased. I like Yanez, but it is a risky pick. It is risky, but I like him. But again, it's not the best card, but we're gonna hit it. We're gonna smash it like we always do,
Yep.
and we're gonna find some better cards along the way for betting, and we're gonna make you guys even some more money. Coming up, we're gonna give you some slides that we always do. We're gonna have our conservative picks, our high risk picks, and we're gonna give you a slide with some prop bets to look out for. And then the last slide is going to be everybody's favorite. It's the parlay picks. Everybody loves the parlays, so we're going to give you some of our parlays and even some YOLO get rich or die trying parlays that, hey, they do hit sometimes, guys. They do. This card, again, it's so unpredictable that I wouldn't go crazy, but we're going to give you our bets anyways. And like I said, I'm confident we're going to find some spots and we're going to win some money. So that's it, guys. That concludes this episode for the UFC 287 predictions and bets. Guys, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, hit the subscribe button, sorry, and drop us a comment. We're on there. We monitor the comments. If you think we're crazy and we're way off, hit us up. Give us some reasoning. Give us your picks. We'll answer back to you and we'll talk it out. But until Saturday, take care of yourselves, enjoy the fights, and we will see you Sunday for a recap, and we'll see how we did. Let's make that money, guys. Peace.